guys, my name is Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little book haul. Once or twice a year, depending on how Indigo is feeling, they do a staff appreciation weekend. There's usually one around Christmas. There's always one around Christmas, in which our discount is just a little bit better than it normally is. And I always use this as an excuse to buy the things that maybe I didn't really need to buy. So I have a little book haul. A lot of it is from that staff appreciation weekend. Unfortunately, the Canada Post strike resulted in a huge amount of backlog in terms of both like shipping things directly to your house and ship to store, but I did buy them and I will mention them here. First one that I have, I'm going to pop up on the screen, and that is The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. So I have heard a lot of people talk about this book. My interest in the book is more from hearing people talk about it. Specifically, the person who really put this on my radar was Fran from Fran Nerd here on YouTube, and she read the book, and that was sort of the motivation that gave her the courage to start her Patreon, because it felt, I guess, really weird asking people for money, asking people for help. And so she read this book and it gave her the words and the mindset to ask for help. And I feel like one of my major flaws as a human is a stubbornness and an inability to ask for help until it's too late. Hearing Fran talk about the ways in which this book helped her, I really think I need to read this book. And so that is stuck in limbo between Canada Post and ship to store nonsense. The other books that are lost in the mail and shipped to store at this point are Art Matters by Neil Gaiman, which I saw Lena from Just Kiss My Frog recommend. She recommended it as part of like a gifting guide, whether it's for the creative, the art person in your life, or for yourself. It's little snippets of validation for making art. One of the things that I have been talking about doing for the longest time involves making a really big, scary leap, because it's a leap into the arts more so than I already am. I'm really struggling to justify that decision to myself. So I'm hoping that picking up that book will help me to make that decision, to make that leap, or to maybe make that leap in a more coherent way. The other book that I ordered was again from Lena's recommendations, and it was 100 Hugs by Chris Riddle. And so it's just an illustration of 100 hugs, and it is for anyone in your life who is sad and you don't want to give them a book on like, this is depression, this is how I think you should fix your depression. It's a book of just like warm, cozy I love yous. Those are the books that are stuck in limbo. These are the books that I physically have. They are things that I either physically picked up in store or I ordered from a different source. Let's start with the things that came from Indigo, the place that I work, because again, these were all fueled by my staff discount, my staff appreciation discount. So the first one I have here is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. So this appears to be middle grade. To be honest, I picked it up knowing nothing about it. I just typed V.E. Schwab into the Indigo database and I looked at what I had and what I didn't have, and I was like, well, I want to read all her things. So I bought all of her things. The Archived just sounds right up my alley. I'm a little bit of a morbid human. Imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books. Each body has a story to tell, a life seen in pictures that only librarians can read. The dead are called histories, and the vast realm in which they rest is the archive. And oh my gosh, this, reading that has me thinking about Seamus Heaney and the Bog Bodies, has me thinking about discussions from my 20th century British and Irish literature class. Particularly this one professor, Jonathan Boulter, talked about the idea of the crypt versus the archive, and how the crypt is a sealed, secret, private history, and the archive is this public history, a public record, and how oftentimes in literature, through art, we're trying to break into the crypt, we're trying to access this secret place, and whether or not we achieve that is to varying degrees of success. The idea that physical bodies are being treated as archived objects and being read, just, it makes me like excited. It makes me excited to reread some of the things that I read in that course. Knowing nothing about them other than the author, I also picked up Vicious and Vengeful. The next book I picked up here is Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. Now, I picked this up after I watched the Netflix adaptation, and I really liked the Netflix adaptation, but apparently there are some things that happen in the book that are completely cut out of the film, and I would really like to experience those moments. And also I just kind of want to compare because I really liked the film. Do I need to tell you what Dumpling's about? Dumpling is about a plus-sized, a self-proclaimed fat girl named Willow Dean Dixon who is dubbed Dumplin' by her mother, who enters a beauty pageant. The next book I have here I picked up because Hannah McGregor talked about it on her podcast Secret Feminist Agenda. I can't remember which episode, otherwise I would link it down below, because she ended up mentioning a couple of books that she had read and recommended, and I ended up picking up 2 of them. So this is The Marrow Thieves by Cherie or Cherry Desmalines? Names, they're great. This is set in a world nearly destroyed by global warming, in which the indigenous peoples of North America are being harvested for their bone marrow. Apparently it's very like new fantasy, new voices. Hannah McGregor was really passionate about this text. On a similar vein, I picked up Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. So I did read Monkey Beach by Eden Robinson and loved it. I loved her writing. So I picked this up because Hannah McGregor had also recommended this Trickster trilogy that Robinson is now writing. This has been on my radar for a long time, but hearing Hannah McGregor talk about it was like, okay, this is the time to buy it. Very excited for this, and I'm hoping to read it very soon in the new year. Should I tell you what this is about too? I'm bad at this. So the back says, everyone knows a guy like Jared, a 16-year-old burnout in high school who sells weed cookies and has a scary mom who's often wasted and wielding some kind of weapon. Jared smokes and drinks too much and his mom is a mess, and he can't rely on anyone for consistent love and support except for his flatulent pit bull baby killer. But now she's dead. He's also a kid with an immense capacity for compassion and an impulse to watch over people more than twice his age, and he tries his best to stabilize his family and keep everything afloat. But it's weird the way he sometimes blacks out, and he puzzles over why this maternal grandmother has never liked him, why she says he isn't human, and that he's the son of a trickster. Also, ravens have begun to speak to him, even when he's not stoned. You think you know Jared, but you don't. It sounds amazing. And the last book that I picked up with my discount was A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. So I have heard Jean from Bookish Thoughts talk about this quite a bit. So this was translated from, I believe, the French, yes, by Hildegard Surly, and it is a fantasy novel. And if you follow Jean's channel, you know that she's on a bit of a fantasy kick in the way that I'm on a fairy tale kick, but hearing her talk about this got me interested in it. A mix of awkward misfit and misunderstood genius, Ophelia cares little about appearances or other people's opinions of her. She possesses 2 special gifts, an unrivaled talent for reading the pasts of objects and the ability to travel through mirrors. Her peaceful, if somewhat dull existence on the art of anima is interrupted when she is promised in marriage to Thorn. Thorn, that's how you pronounce that word. A taciturn and influential member of a powerful clan from a distant arc, the cold and icy pole. She realizes she's a pawn in a political game. It sounds fun, and I trust Jean's opinions. And the last book I have here is a complete impulse buy, and it was something that I heard Jen Campbell talk about. I heard her talk about it. I was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing. I need that in my life. I immediately ordered it. It arrived like 2 days later because I ordered it via Amazon Prime because of this postal strike. I was like, I need to read this now. It arrived in the mail, and I have absolutely no recollection of why I was so excited about this, and it is Names for the Sea, Strangers in Iceland by Sarah Moss. So I remember Jen being passionate about it, and I remember getting really excited about it, and when it arrived, I'm still really excited about it, and I have no idea why. So this is about Sarah Moss and her husband moving to Iceland with their small children, and they end up traveling hillsides of boiling mud and volcanic craters and remote farms and fishing villages and finding new ways to live in a new place. Thinking about it, like reading the blurb, I'm like, that sounds fascinating. I have always wanted to do something like that. I have a list of like 10 things that scare me that I've been debating turning into a video to sort of hold myself accountable. And one of those things is uprooting my life for 6 months just to push myself to grow as a human, or solo travel for a couple of weeks just to push myself as a human. So I started reading this, and so far I like her writing. This is one of those examples of like an impulse buy that like is going to turn out well, I feel, because I am excited about it, but I mean, also, what am I doing with my life and my money? So that is my little book haul. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you have read any of these, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.